Hey everybody, on my Strengths Finder test, my top five strengths were input, learner, achiever, intellection, and competition. Very heavy on the reflective side, which isn't terribly shocking to those who know me well. Um, and Yeah, with a one energized and one mobilized gift mixed in there, or strength mixed in there. And so on my core drill, the kind of classification that I got then was force of nature, which basically just means I'm a very intense, motivated person, um, who tends to be good at influencing people and who kind of gravitates towards leadership positions, or just to leading people, and who sometimes has a hard time following. Um, those things are all very true about me. It's just tended to work out that way. I guess over the past 10 years or so is when I started to be kind of who I am today. So, in particular, the difficulty following people, that was painfully true. Probably about 8 years ago, before I really was deeply entrenched in community and in church community, and um, yeah, I had to learn what it was to kind of work out life in uh, uh, being loved by people and loving people and having to submit to pastors and elders, and so it was kind of a long road towards laying aside a lot of the pride that I had towards others, and learning how to love people well. So, my coaching call went really well. My coach was really encouraging, very good at asking questions. Just a few things that I wanted to talk about that kind of came out of that. She was good at pointing out how my strengths work together. In particular, she talked about my reflective strengths working with my energize and mobilize strengths to. She said reflective people sometimes can have a tendency to be very. They're just kind of good where they are, go with the flow, but I'm kind of push against the grain, and so I learn with a particular goal in mind, and I take in information wanting to do something with it. And then another thing that she talked about was she pointed out how I love people. We had conversations about how I spend time with my wife, how I love her, and she pointed out that I my learning strength is really the one that I kind of love with. I love to make people know that I see them, and that I know who they are. I know them deeply, and that I care about them in those things. I care about them as a person and the deepest parts of them. And she also talked to me about how I avoid burnout as a very reflective person, but as also a kind of high achieving person. That I need to set aside specific time that I take to kind of refresh and avoid burnout. I think this was good in just kind of establishing these things, giving names to some of my strengths, and to kind of reaffirm this desire that I have to do biblical scholarship, where learning in a direction is kind of what it's all about. Learning, taking in information with the mindset towards creating, kind of being on the cutting edge of things, and kind of just being the best that I can be, and interpreting the Bible the best that I can for other people.